My name is Leanne Powell. I'm the Membership and Group Coordinator. This is the Secretary webinar. The aim of this session is to identify the main responsibilities of the Membership Secretary role and explain in more detail how you support them. So the main responsibilities of the Membership Secretary. So responsibilities are to be up to date on Woodcraft vote policy, like the safeguarding policy, vetting procedures, data protection, and membership screening. All of these policies are available for download on the website in the resources section and in the about section. Obviously, you can always contact me if you have trouble locating policies on the website. The next responsibility is to identify which volunteers need to be members and support them to apply for membership. The next responsibility is to request references for volunteers applying for membership. This is the suitability references that you would get to just check on someone's suitability to work with children in support of the DBS. The next is supporting volunteers to complete either a DBS or PV application, witnessing their identity documents and verifying their applications both on paper and online. Chasing up new members to renew their membership annually. And the last, one is to use the online Woodcraft database, which is now Groop, to provide membership reports for the district and to help you with chasing up your volunteers with their DBS membership renewals, etc. The next few slides will look at the main responsibilities of the Membership Secretary in more detail, starting with who can become a member of Woodcraft Folk and who in a district needs to have a DBS. So who can become a member? All active volunteers who are regularly helping out at group nights or attend overnight stays. So we define a regular to be more than once a month. So these are the volunteers that you need to be asking to become members. So DFs, our 16 to 20-year-olds, should be encouraged to become members as their groups do not pay annual group registration, and their membership does still include getting references as well. I know that you may have had, pioneers up to DF age and you'll know them, but we still need to require them to have references in case they then take on leadership within the district. It's really important that you get these. So this could be a teacher or one of the leaders in the group, a parent, friend, etc. And then under 16s, though not required to become members of Woodcraft Folk, they can apply for membership free of charge. Under 16 members can be found, membership forms can be found on our website for download. This can also be done through Groop as well, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. And then finally, supporters of Woodcraft Folk can also apply to be Friends of the Folk members, making an annual donation. So that's like your supporters. So someone who doesn't necessarily want to be involved and engage with children, at group night, they can still support our movement as well. So next is who needs to have a DBS or PVG. I should point out now that both the DBS and PVG are criminal record checks. The Disclosure Environment Service, also known as a DBS, operates in England and Wales, and the PVG scheme operates in Scotland and is run by Disclosure Scotland. Members who need to have a DBS: all active volunteers who regularly help out at group nights or attend overnight stay, any of your group and district office holders who have additional level of responsibility in a district, have access to sensitive and confidential information, and sometimes charitable funds. Also, your DFs who are taking on a role of responsibility at camp or group night, DFs who are only attending events as participants do not need to have a disclosure. And then finally, in England, there is a possibility that a volunteer can be a supervised member and not required to complete a DBS. Those members would need to obviously read our safeguarding policies, complete a safeguarding declaration, and also would have to be supervised, but would not be allowed to do any kind of alone supervision with children. They would have to have someone with them at all times whilst present in your group. So once you've identified a volunteer that needs to become a member, you'll need to support them through the process. they can either apply by paper or online. So previously we had the Woodcraft website, and that members could apply that way. But now we have moved on to Groop, and members can apply by going to still via website. So the link here just at the top, /join, and here they'll be able to register to sign up to Groop. So it's just literally a really quick registration form they have to fill in. Once they fill that in, there will be I will be notified when a member applies online, and then I will then send them instructions on how to complete a DBS and how they provide references. On receipt of their registration to Groop, I will also send them a membership application form, and this is very similar to, I don't know if you are working with Groop already, but a submit request, but obviously asking for different information to support their membership application. And I'll also send them a payment portal, which they would then do an online payment, but they're also given guidance if they want to set up an annual direct debit, and their membership renewal would be automatic if they went for that option. They can also give me a call and make a card payment over the phone. We'll need you to help them with DBS and PVG. So we'll need you to then contact them and say, I know that you've applied online, I need you to complete your DBS, but obviously there are some instructions on how to do that, including the password and branch code. So we'd also need your help in obviously requesting references, but we will give them the link to the online reference form, which is available via website, and we'll talk about that in a minute. And also we need your help in chasing these members. So obviously they register online, they fill in a form, but obviously we still need your help to make sure that they complete a DBS and they do their references, but we'll also do that chasing as well. So we can do that automatically from the system. But if you know that you have a member that's still outstanding a piece of information, then we would love your help to chase them up. I should mention the renewal process, which still runs exactly the same as when we had Civi CRM, our database. However, instead of going to the website, volunteers will receive an email from Groop with a link to the online payment portal to renew using debit or credit card. Currently, if a person needs to change their personal information, they need to contact the membership and groups coordinator, which is myself, who will send them an online form, or I'll update the information for them on Groop. So that's how you can apply. Members can apply online to become a member, and they can follow the link at the top there. So, but instead of going to through our old website, they're actually instructed on that page to register on Groop. So on their registration, I will get a notification to say someone's applied online, and I will send them instructions on how to complete a DBS and PVG and to provide references, so they get like a welcome email from me. On receipt of their registration to Groop, a new volunteer will receive the online membership application form and a payment portal to cover their fees. So they can have the option to pay online with credit or debit card, or they'll receive instructions on how to complete a direct debit online and set up an annual payment, and then the membership will be automatically renewed. In this application process, we need your help to ensure that your new members apply for a DBS, and your role is to witness their ID and verify their application online. We'll also need you to kind of chase up with references as well, but in that welcome email, all that instruction is given to them. And then anyone who doesn't complete the information that we need, references, membership, missed out sections on their online application, I will send them automatic chases from the Groop system. But any help that you can provide in making sure that that your members are vetted, their volunteers are vetted, that would be fantastic. You can also still apply for membership on paper. Very few people do now, but the paper form is available on the website. You can just download it, fill it in, send it, and you can still post to Folk Office. At the moment, we haven't changed our postal address, so I still get post, so someone can send their form in with a check, and that will still be processed as well. As I mentioned before, the renewal process is now run through Groop as well, so anyone who needs to renew their membership will receive an email from Groop saying it's now time for you to renew your membership, and I sent the payment portal which they can then quickly just renew their membership online. Currently, if a person needs to change their membership and their personal information at any point, they will need to contact myself, and I can make that change for them, or send them a submit request, which they can then just change update their address or their telephone number. Hopefully, with all the group development that we're having with Groop, that will be something they can do themselves. But right now, it's something they'd have to email me about. So that's how the membership application process works on Groop. Finally got there, screen's working. So then the next thing is seeking references. So once a volunteer's application for membership has been submitted, we'll need 2 references to be provided in support of their application. References are an important part of our vetting procedures because, unlike criminal record checks, they describe a volunteer's suitability to work with children, whereas the disclosure only tells us if they have a conviction, warning, or caution. Two references must be sought for all of your new members, and it's part of your membership procedure. So requesting references. References can be applied via our online form on our website. Forms submitted by this online form comes directly to me, and our records are updated accordingly. Or you can request them on our behalf, either by written letter, verbal, or by email. So you can still, if you prefer to still be part of that process and request those references, you can do that. But there is an online form, which is literally a link that the new member can send to their referees, and it also explains who can be a referee. So references can be sought from employers, doctors, teachers, colleagues, friends, or previous volunteers placements. It's good practice to seek at least one external reference outside of Woodcraft folk. So that person is instructed on that online reference page. They are given a bit of instruction about who can be a referee and so forth, and that information comes back to me, and I update our records here. So it kind of saves you a job if you want, and just by saying just do the online form. Once an applicant submits an application, you'll be notified by email. This is the point at which you should get in contact with them to arrange a time to meet up. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong part. I'm having a day of it. Once you've received references, please notify us by email. You can use a notification form which is available on our website. If your volunteer fails to send in references, we will chase them monthly for them to do that. But any help that you can give us by doing some chasing is also appreciated. As I said, once you have received references, if you've done them outside of the online form, then please let us know. You can use a notification form that is available on the website. And then any references that you do receive need to be kept confidentially within the district. So if you have like a membership secretary file that you look after, that just needs to be kept confidentially, and no one has access to it. So that's references. So then we come to the DBS. So I'll start off with the DBS process first, and then I will also talk about PVG for anyone who's a membership secretary in Scotland. So we do our DBS applications online. It used to be on a platform called GBG, but they've now changed their name and they're called First Advantage. It's completely the same platform, nothing's changed. If you've gone on there already and thought, oh, that's a bit different, it's blue now, everything still works the same. So all current members are signposted to the DBS online link. You can go to it at any point. It's on our website. It's also a main icon at the bottom of our homepage as well, so it's easy to find. You'll on that page they'll be able to find out their district pin and their secret word to start the application process, which is ICAMP, and then you have your district pin. All that information is supplied on that DBS online page, but it does help if you are speaking to a new volunteer to give them that information as well. Once an applicant submits their application, you'll be notified by email. This is the point which you should get in contact with them to arrange a time to meet up and witness their identity documents specified in their application. The ID needs to be witnessed in person and in accordance with the rules as set out by the Disclosure and Barring Service. And full details of that can be found in the DBS online guidance, which I've recently updated and is available at that link. Once you've witnessed the documents, you'll need to input the relevant information into the online DBS system. This is called the verification process, and a step-by-step guide is available on the DBS online guidance. So it's a matter of literally you witness their passport, their driving license, and then you go onto the First Advantage website, you log in and click their name, and then it's just a matter of just putting all of those details in, and then just confirming that you've witness their identity documents and then click send, and that's that's the verification of their DBS. Then once that has been processed, we will receive confirmation at head office, and we will update the details on our records, just noting the issue date, the DBS certificate number, and whether they want to be subscribed to the update service, and we'll do that as well. If there's anything that comes up on the DBS that needs to be witnessed, I will contact the volunteer and yourselves and say there's something that's been listed on your DBS certificate. Can you either send a copy to me so that I can witness it, or via your membership secretary, so that we can just make sure whatever is on there that we can risk assess if it needs to be, or it just could be like, actually it was something that happened when you were 12, really minor offence, we don't need to take this any further. So that's what happens with the DBS. So that's when we receive confirmation. At that point, once we receive that confirmation, if someone has given us permission to, we'll subscribe them to the update service, which was introduced back in 2013. The update service is an online subscription service that keeps members' DBS certificates up to date so they can be used by different organisations. So the applicant only gets one certificate which they should keep hold of, and then use that certificate with different organisations. So it works that a organisation would witness the certificate, and then would run an online check using that details, and would be informed if there had been a change of their criminal record or their suitability to work with children, if they've been barred from working with children. So here at Woodcraft Folk, we subscribe our applicants to the update service. We do it, it's a free of charge service as long as we're given permission to do so. And it just allows us, in 3 years' time, when someone's DBS comes up for renewal, we could just pop on, using the details that we already have on our record, we could just pop onto the DBS website and run that renewal. It takes me 2 minutes. I can bulk upload them and get all the details, and then I just update our records, and that person has been renewed for a further 3 years. Some people don't give us permission to renew it automatically, and that's absolutely fine. We just have to seek their permission by email to go and run that check in every 3 years. Some people give us permission to do that, but their membership needs to be up to date in order for us to do that, because we can't run checks for volunteers that are not members, and obviously they're having a current membership allows us to do that. So we also accept DBS certificates applied for through different organisations. So if you have a new volunteer and say they've been working for children in need and they've got a DBS certificate, it's been processed to work with the under the child workforce, they can use that with us. So what we'd ask them to do is to complete an update service check form, which can be downloaded from the website, and it's just a matter of you have to witness the DBS. You would then have to fill in this form, just letting me know all the certificate details and whether there was anything listed on it, a caution, a conviction, etc., and then sending that to me, and then I would run that online check, and that would be as though they had a new DBS with us, and I would update the records accordingly. Some cases, some people don't know that they're part of the DBS update service, so you may ask them and they might be like, yeah, I am. A good way to check is to say, once you got your certificate, did you go on to the DBS website and fill in a separate form to subscribe? if the certificate was for paid work, that subscription would cost them £13 a year. So you'd say, are you paying £13 for this subscription? If they say no, then the likelihood is that they haven't subscribed to the DBS update service. It's free for volunteers, but not if your DBS application was processed under you and for your job. So that's how the DBS update service works. It really does kind of support, you know, our membership process really well. It, you know, renewals of DBSs have increased, which is fantastic. It's really quick, and it saves everyone a lot of time having to like redo forms, you know, having their ID documents witnessed again. So anyone that you can encourage to join and send me permission to subscribe, then please do. It is one of the questions that's asked on their membership application, but some people do miss it. But they can always just drop me an email and let me know that they want me to subscribe them. And the subscription needs to be at the point of which their certificate was processed, and they have 30 days to do that. So if they, you know, if they email me at day 41, I can't subscribe them. So they need to like let me know as soon as possible. So that's how the update service works. So next we go to PVG. So as I said, PVG is for our members that are in Scotland. Anyone who's volunteering in Scotland must have a PVG. They cannot use a DBS if they had moved from England or Wales. So PVG launched a new online process. It was previously only paper, but this year, fantastic, they have gone online, which is great. As the membership secretary, all you'll need to do now, rather than getting someone to fill in the form, is you would download a simple cover sheet from our website. And then all you do is that you would add the person's name to the cover sheet. You would submit their contact details for the applicant. The ID that you witnessed at that point, you would ID their witness their ID, sorry, and there are guidelines of that on our website at the link above. You would let the PVG know what kind of application you're applying for. So are they an existing member of PVG, or are they joining it for the first time? And then you would, you know, witness their ID at the same time and put that all onto the cover sheet. You then send that cover sheet to myself. I would verify it, and then I would send that completed form to Disclosure Scotland, who would process the application, and then they would send each individual on your cover sheet a link to their online form, which they would need to fill in. They would need to fill in the form that was sent to them within 7 days before the application link expires. So they need to be quite speedy. They need to make sure they check their spam folders. So they need to be aware that they're going to be receiving an email of that form. It isn't something they can fill in straight away. Once they fill in that form, they'll be that will go directly to Disclosure Scotland for processing. And if there are any problems, they get an email back letting them know that they've missed a section or they haven't given details correctly. If everything works out fine, we should get a response back within 14 days. The good news with PVG now is that they will send us an email online certificate rather than having to wait for a paper copy to be sent to the office. So I will receive a copy of the certificate and its details, and so will the applicant. I'm able to update those details, and I don't need to have to ask or request to witness their certificate. So the online system in Scotland is a bit different, which is quite good. So that's how. Yeah.
It talks about the cover sheet that we're meant to do for them. Does that have to be posted to you, or can it be emailed?
It can be emailed. It can be just send it to me electronically. Yeah, that's not a problem. Yeah. Okay, so that's how that new process works. I've written guidance for this process, and that is available on that link on that page. But if anyone has any questions, then feel free to drop me an email. But we had our first one through a couple of weeks ago, and it seemed to be a really seamless process. So I'm really pleased that it's moved online rather than having to do paper forms back and forth, which is really good. So now we move on to Groop, which is our new membership database. So as you all know, Groop is our new online platform to support the day-to-day run of our groups. The main features are online child registrations, online payments, events, membership database, which is coming soon, and Groop processes all our membership and renewals. So all district membership secretaries are recorded in Groop. So you may have received your activation emails. You may have had some introduction to the system and are starting to use it. As you may have noticed, you don't actually have access to your volunteer information yet. I obviously have that information centrally, and is managing that database. But the hope is that by the summer, we'll be able to give you access to that information so that you can, like with the previous database, you can produce reports which will help you with chasing individuals, knowing where you're at in time for a camp, etc. You'll be able to look up contact information for your volunteers, and look up all the statuses of their membership in DBS, all just via this online system. It's really it's disappointing that we haven't been able to give you that access yet, but I am working with Groop to get that to you all by the summer. In the meantime, as I've done with some of you already, I can send you membership lists, and just drop me an email, let me know when you need it by, and I can get that sent over to you, and then we can work out any anomalies that you might spot, or answer any questions that you might have. I'm hoping, as I said, that will be available from the summer, and it will be a really good resource for you and your group leaders who may need access to that information. As soon as it's introduced, I'll be running obviously training sessions to kind of get you all up to date on how it all works, and the processes that you can do. So that's Groop. So that's kind of the end of the session. I'm happy to kind of answer any questions that you might have. I've put some useful links here. Obviously, I'm a resource as well, so you can always come and ask me. But I'm going to have a quick look at the chat and see if there are any questions that have come up. Okay. Is there a minimum age to get a DBS check? Yes. So the DBS only will process an application for 16 plus. For PVG, it can be from the age of 14. So you can't send in a DBS application for anyone under the age of 16. Let's see. So can my DBS voluntary? If you are, you can use your certificate with your workplace if they wish to. You just need to show them a copy, and they'd run their own processes for you. I think Arissa had her hand up.
Hello.
Hiya.
So my question's about previous group members whose memberships run out.
Yeah.
I've got a couple in my group who have tried to renew via Groop and really struggled.
Okay.
I think one phoned you and got it sorted that way, but I've invited them to Groop. I think they tried to register with Groop, online with Groop on the website.
Okay.
But they were already on it. So it's like they were already members, so they couldn't re-register.
Yeah, okay, because they had the same email address.
Yeah, and then I invited them to Groop the way I can through my group, but that didn't trigger anything.
Yeah, so they have to register using, if it's a new person, they have to go through that join link that I showed before.
But they're not new because they're just trying to renew.
Yeah, so did they...
So one of them phoned you and got it sorted over the phone, but the other one is just kind of in limbo at the moment. So I don't know what...
Did they receive an email from me saying you need to renew?
No. Okay,
so what they'd need to do in that instance would be to either request a group payment portal.
I think they... So I requested a list from you.
Yeah.
Went through and said to them, you're out of date.
Yeah.
They, I think, emailed you and you said you need to do this thing, and then it didn't really work. So is it best for them to email you again?
Yeah, ask them to drop me an email, because if they received a renewal from me, they would have gotten a link. If they haven't received an email, they can either go to our website and just fill in a direct debit form. They wouldn't need to log on to the website, or they can contact, it says email email membership at and request a group payment portal to be sent to you. So maybe I just need to send them
I'll ask
payment
them to do
portals.
that and see if that works. Because
Yeah, I'll send them payment portals. Yeah.
yeah, I'm still really not up. I mean, I'm really not up with Groop. I find it very unfriendly.
Yeah, I would say, Arissa, maybe we can have like a session where we can kind of go through things if you're still having problems
Yeah,
with
I
the
think
system.
we're going to try as a district
Yeah,
and all kind of pull together, and then maybe come back to you when we've got some questions, because at the
yeah,
moment it's just a bit of a mire for all.
yeah. Because at the moment, the membership database is quite separate from your profiles that you all have. So every group and every district has a profile on Groop,
Yeah,
and that's kind of all autonomous, and you're all kind of working yourselves on kind of building that data, but that doesn't actually include any of the membership information that we have separate to that. So though you can register people to your profile, they wouldn't, that's quite separate from registering to my
so I
database
think they
profile.
must have fallen down in between the cracks in terms of they
Yeah,
were already on the database because they were a previous member who hadn't renewed. So they
okay,
couldn't redo it. They couldn't click on the thing.
yeah. And that's strange because there is on our website, there's a join button and there's a renew button. If they click the renew button, it would have given them instructions about the options they
Maybe
have
they
to
did.
renew.
I don't know, and I didn't know enough about it.
Yeah, fair enough. If you get them to drop me an email, I'll take them through it. And if they still struggle, then we can just do card payments over the
That's
phone.
great, thank you.
Yeah, no worries at all. Um, there's a question here quickly from Jill Allen. Can I pay for membership for new volunteers? So if what we can do in that instance, and some districts do, if they get their new members to apply online, following the steps that I mentioned before, but then if the district can contact me and say, I've got Claire and Billy and Sarah signing up, can you send me an invoice, Leanne, for £36 to pay their membership? And I can just send the district an invoice to pay those members, and they will still just have to do the kind of admin sections without paying. So that's the way that I work with some districts who like to cover the fees for like the first year.
Oh, that's good, because I said to everybody, I want to get obviously new leaders now.
Yeah.
And I said to everybody, right, the district will pay you the first lot, and then we couldn't work out. So in fact, what I've done is I've said, well, you must send me your bank details, you pay, and I'll then pay you back. But that's going to mess up our accounts. It's not going to be very clear on the accounts why I'm paying people. So it'd be better. But anyway, now if I get more people, then I'll do it that way round.
Yeah, just drop me an email, say to expect these members to sign up, and then I'll just invoice you directly, and they can just do the admin bits of filling in the form and their DBS and references like usual.
Can I just ask you something else?
Yeah.
This new Scottish whatever it is.
Yeah.
Is that recognised by English Woodcraft? Like, the reason I'm asking is that when we go to Lockabrook, there's someone who comes from Glasgow.
Okay.
So will her coming to Lockabrook, she can come with the Scottish one she's got, can she?
Yeah, so you can. The DBS doesn't work in Scotland, but the PVG does work here. So you can do an event or activity using your PVG. But if you were going to be regularly working in a group and moving from Scotland, then you would need to do a DBS.
Right.
Yeah. But if it's just a one-off, then the PVG will cover them. That's
great. Thanks.
Yeah. Cool. I noticed that there was someone with their hands raised. I wasn't sure who it was.
I've got my hand raised. It's
Lovely.
Hi.
Hiya.
Yeah, just to say we had the same problem. Somebody wasn't able to renew their membership. I mean, I don't know exactly what the problem was, but it is a problem because she tried to do it and she's just given up.
Okay. So I'm going to quickly just show you on the website whilst we're talking about. Oh, if I go to the website. So here, there's the join button there, and there's also this renew button. If they click here, it says to renew membership, go here. If you're new, then follow the. And then here it says you can pay your membership. So you can do direct debits, or you can make a card payment online, contact membership at, and a group payment portal will be sent to you. So if you direct your members still to this page, there are instructions, and I mean I can also add that you can make a card payment if they just want to just not interact with group just yet whilst you're all not having access. But it is there, so I'm not really.
Well, is it? So they do it on this website. They don't go to Groop.
So they don't go to Groop because I need to send them a portal. So someone who's lapsed like a year ago, they will need to contact me and say, Leanne, I haven't renewed my membership in a year. Can you send me a portal? I'll do that. Anyone who is due to lapse this year will get an email from me via Groop saying, you need to renew your membership. Here's your portal. That link lasts for 7 days or 14 days. If they don't respond to that email and that link, then they would have to log into Groop, which they all have been sent activation emails throughout the year. They'll log into Groop, they'll go to My Groop Pay, and in there, your invoice will be sitting in there waiting for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other question I had a question about, so let's say we had a camp where people applied for their DBS very late, and like on the Friday, I think camp was starting on the Friday evening, and somebody's DBS came back on the Friday. We're like, yay, they can go on camp. But actually, with hindsight, we don't know that DBS was clear. We only know that it was complete. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So actually, how do we know? How do I know that the DBS is clear? Because it doesn't show up on that online system that's now called something different.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell me the outcome of the DBS, only that it's completed.
Yeah, so it would be that if you had someone who was really last minute, and it came from Friday, you'd have to just drop me a line, give me a call, and I could look on the system for you.
So you can see it straight away?
I can see it straight away, yeah. Okay. I see
Okay.
it straight away. For me, I can just have a look. So if you needed to call me at like 3 p.m. and say, Leanne, do you know if David's thing's gone through? I can quickly
Okay.
have a look for you. I can see there may be the option that you would be able to see the outcomes, but I need to just double check about, data protection and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if that is an option, then I can see whether I can get that.
Okay. Oh, that's fine.
Done.
Just that but I think it's just worth people being aware of that, because I think when I was initially using that system,
yeah,
to me, if it had a tick by it, I thought that's fine. That's
okay.
But I didn't realise that it could have a problem with the DBS, but somebody wouldn't know, and I don't know that that's clear enough in the training and that.
Okay, I can definitely make a point of putting that in there, that you want about the outcomes. But I will get an update on whether I can give you access to see the outcomes, and if that's the case, then I'll share that in the next newsletter.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
I have another question, which is about that supervised member thing you mentioned at the beginning. I've never understood the difference there, because surely no adult is allowed to be alone with a child. That's like one of the overarching principles. So, but whenever you talk about this supervised membership being different from a member, a full member, people say, I've never understood how that would fit in.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that like we widely promote, because I think it means that person would have to be supervised constantly, and I think that's quite hard to do in a group night setting if there are only 2 leaders trying to run a session. So yeah, I think but it's not necessarily being supervising a number of children. You couldn't supervise a number of children on your own. You couldn't provide any like personal care or anything like that if you were being supervised. But if you were just going to be a kind of someone that was a parent that was coming in like every so often, just to kind of be some eyes and a helpful hand with juice or whatever, then it could suffice in that situation, but it couldn't be anything more than that. Okay. But it's not something that is widely used, because I don't think it's that helpful.
Yeah, I think it just muddies the waters, and we just don't have anyone in that situation. But I can't see how you could possibly want to do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think maybe once someone's come forward and that's kind of worked, but and it means that we need to continuously have to check in to make sure that they are continue to be supervised, and is the supervisor still the same person and stuff. So it's not something that we would widely promote, but the DBS do offer that as an option.
Okay. Yeah. So one last question: if somebody's got this, they've got a DBS certificate from another organisation.
Yeah.
I would say 9 times out of 10 they don't know if they've signed up to the update service.
Yeah.
So is there a way to check to find out?
I mean, the way what happens is I can run the online check and then be told that actually they're not a member, don't have a subscription. But obviously that's extra work for me to do. So I mean, I always find asking them those kind of questions. Do you pay for your subscription? Did you get it done through work? It usually kind of weeds out that actually they're not part of the update service. Did you fill in a separate form? Did you go on the DBS website and put your certificate details in? You'll find out that actually they haven't done that.
So if they've got a DBS certificate and they can wave it at you and you can see the paper certificate, but they're not a member of the update service, they still, that doesn't count, and they still have to do the
They have to do a new one. Yeah, because obviously if that DBS was done in 2017, think their criminal record could have changed since then. So that's why we'd have to do a whole new check for them. But if they're on the update service, then obviously it's kept up to date, and I'll be able to be told if it has changed or not. So without the subscription, it's just it's worthless to us really. So they need to do a new one.
Okay, thank you.
Can I carry on that question about the update service? Because this £13, I'd missed that bit.
Okay.
So a lot of people who, we've got teachers in our group, so
Yeah.
all the schools are signed up to the update service and regularly renew their teachers' DBSs. So are we saying that even if as an example, the company as a school in this scenario is signed, the DBS that the person has got from the school is signed up to the update service, unless they have actually paid the £13 themselves, they are not part of the update service. Have I understood that correctly?
Yeah. If your DBS was processed by your workplace and they paid for that DBS application, then you would be charged £13 per year for your subscription. So if someone's like, no, my workplace do it, I'm like, are they paying that £13 for you? If they're not, then it means that there is no subscription.
Okay, so some organisations do pay that £13.
Some of them may do, yeah. Some, but I find that if you have a vocation where you're working with children and you know, like a teacher, they may see that subscription actually paying that £30 a year is actually quite ideal. But you know, some people don't, and it depends on the workplace whether they're prepared to pay that £13 for you. So some may do. They may be like, you know.
So it's possible, of course, that people don't know if that £13 is being paid for them. Because I just recently had that scenario where somebody, where you checked it for us and it wasn't in the update service, but she checked back at a school and they go, yes, you were definitely on the update service because we renew it for you every 3 years. So I didn't quite understand how that.
I think the school are confused, if I'm honest.
Really?
Because because it's £13 per year. So if they're renewing it every 3 years, that means that they're doing their DBS application every 3 years, like we do. They say it's good practice to do it every 3 years. So if that's what they're saying, they're actually talking about they actually just get them to apply again every 3 years.
Do they? Okay.
That's what that sounds like to me, because it's an annual charge. I don't know if any of you are on the update service, you might get an email once a year from the DBS going, well, your subscription is being renewed for a further year. As you're a volunteer, it's free. So the idea is that if you got that email, then the person, if you were someone who was paying for your subscription, you'd get that email as well, but then you'd have to go make a payment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I totally missed that. All right. Yeah. Okay. So this, okay. It's going to be very unlikely anybody's up on the update service then.
Yeah, if they're using it for paid work, I'm always it's usually not the case, but if you're a volunteer, then definitely.
Yeah. Okay. All
yeah,
right. That makes sense of it. Okay, thank you very much.
That's all right. Were there more hands raised? I'll take another question.
Oh, sorry, go on, Susan.
Too many Susans on a call as usual. Just go back to the DBS and camping thing, because it kind of happens with us as well. Kind of realistically now, what kind of deadlines should we give people for kind of thinking ahead for camping?
Yeah.
How long should we give them in terms of just making sure that DBS check kind of goes through? It's like 3 weeks, or
I would give yourself a month. I would give yourself a month, only because there were delays of this whole lockdown and stuff, and then obviously only key workers were given priority for their disclosures and stuff. I haven't had any update from the DBS about whether they still have any backlog or not. I know with PVG they do. So I would say, just to give yourself some breathing room, I would give 4 weeks. But at the same time, I've had a couple go through within like 4 days. But I always say, urge on the side of caution. If you want these people to come to camp, let's get it done as soon as possible.
Right, thank you.
Yeah. Another Susan?
Yeah, can I just ask one more question? Do you know when Groop are going to allow users to change their own email address? Because I'm still being told that I have to do it for them. And
I know. There are some bugbears. I have bugbears too. I change a lot of email addresses. I've been told that will be July, end of June, July. But it is something that not only our organisation are saying, other organisations who use Groop have also requested this change, so they are working on it. But we've got a whole list of developments that they're trying to get through. Some are going through really quickly, some are taking a bit longer, but it will, in the next few months, I'm hoping there'll be some big changes for us.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Another hand?
I've got another question. Does any other group do a joint safeguarding and membership secretary role? Because I do, because when I was doing just safeguarding, I found out that this was the stuff I was spending all my time doing was DBS checks. I was doing exactly what we just felt it was the same job. I just wondered how other groups divide it.
No, we have a separate safeguarding officer.
So what do they do? Because I was doing all of this when I was safeguarding officer.
Oh, right. No, well, funny enough, our current one has just taken over the role, and then we had a previous lady. So it's obviously double checking. So obviously I'm doing my job as well. So making sure before everybody goes on camp that everybody actually has got their DBSs. Doing this, checking safeguarding policies. That's what ours do. Keeping everybody in line with photo permissions, that type of stuff.
Yeah, making sure everyone is aware of the safeguarding policy, providing some district level training, being the first point of contact when there is a problem, and also liaising with myself as a deputy or Owen as the lead safeguarding officer when something does arise, and giving support. So that's kind of what the safeguarding person does, making sure that the children are safeguarded, which is slightly different to membership, which is kind of like the membership and vetting, so making sure everyone is DBS checked, making sure everyone's up to date with membership if they need to be, and vetted, whereas the safeguarding person deals with more the safeguards, making sure that risk assessments are done, that kind of thing, having a kind of oversight of the safeguarding for the district.
And she does our safeguarding training as well.
Yeah. So the roles are slightly different. I can send you some information on that. There's like some key tasks for each role. I can send that to you if you like.
No, yeah, I missed this seminar for the safeguarding update, but I mean, it's fine. I do all that. I do both of them. It's just that what happened is I spent my entire time chasing the membership secretary for all of this information, and it just felt easier to do it myself than to chase them for it.
As long as it's not, as long as that you're not overwhelmed with work and you feel like you can do both, then there's no harm in someone kind of doing both roles. We just think it's it's if you have the capacity to kind of share that responsibility over
I might
over
try
a few people.
The other thing that was a previous safeguarding update a couple of years ago, it did say about having a team, like a small team for the district. I don't know if does anyone else do that, and sort of like have 2 or 3 of us doing all of this between us.
We have, I mean, each group has to have their own safeguarding officer as well. So the district safeguarding officer kind of has oversight, but they are a team as well. So they have each other to contact about things.
Well, we were told it was allowed to be the same person for.
It can be the same. There isn't any. So the district safeguarding person can be the lead safeguarding person. If you've got 3 groups, they can be the lead safeguarding officer in each of those groups. But if you've got maybe a bigger district, that might not necessarily be how it works, and you can share that kind of role and can create a team. But if you've got, so it really there isn't any kind of hard fast rule about if you should have a team or not, but if it works better for you that you do have a team, even better, especially if you've got like 10 groups. That's a lot of work.
Okay.
We've also in Leeds, so I'm the district membership secretary and my group's membership secretary, but each group has their own membership secretary as well.
Yeah.
Just because they know who's in their group better than I do, and then they can keep better track as to whether or not their group members are DBS checked, and they're more likely to see them to do I mean, Leeds isn't a particularly big city, so I can go to people and do it, but it just made a bit more sense. So if we've got a new group starting or they can't have somebody because they haven't got enough volunteers, then I'll do the DBS checks and the references. But once they're like a bit more established, usually we try and encourage them to have their own.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think there was another hand raised. Was it another Susan? Oh, maybe not. I'll just check the chat and see if you've got any more questions sitting in there. Is there a group webinar on how to use Groop? Yes, there is, or someone's put the link in there. I do run sessions once a month now on Groop. It's kind of introduction to Groop. Also answer any questions. I've got a session that's coming up on the 31st. I think it's either at 6 or 6:30. I can't remember. And I'll be doing some screen share work and also updating on some of the changes that have happened and just letting you know some of the good things. Bye, Veronica. Some of the things that have changed. So that's on the 31st if you want to come along to that, Anna. Or I'm happy to offer one-to-one sessions or district sessions where we can use your own data and go through any queries that you might have. So yeah, that's with Groop. Are there any more questions? No, well, I hope this has been useful.